Thank you, Angel, and Heidi ho, everyone. Happy Tuesday to you, wherever you may be. Firstly, an apology from me for those of you who subscribe to the Telegram group. I was unable to post my analysis of the day earlier because I was actually tied up doing something extremely important with my other business. So apologies for that. And I didn't get round to it for the rest of the day, as you would now know. I will, of course, update you on that very, very shortly. Not terribly exciting, except that I feel I may have three trades for you in just a minute. But first up, let's have a look at the pound and see if we're going to trade the breakout today. I wouldn't mind trading it short, but I'm not terribly sure I want to trade it long. And the reason, of course, is I've got an untested daily pivot just above me. Looking a little bit, in fact, these dollar pairs are looking a little bit like head and shoulders at the moment on various charts, various time frames. This is potentially one of them. And I'm just trying to get a handle on this. Just let me have a little play for a minute. The 1 hour chart. Let's say we're through there. And kind of through there. It's not nice. I'm not in love with it, I've got to say. So that becomes a little bit dicey as far as I'm concerned. When there is a head and shoulders, I like to have some form of uniformity about it. And I really don't see that at the moment, but I clearly see an untested daily pivot here. And the potential for this to go in, out is extremely high. However, I would have to say that we're probably in a range. So what would you do? Would you go, okay, I'm going short only, not going long, and cast your fate to the wind? Or would you say I'm not trading it at all? Or would you say, okay, I'm not really adding that as a parameter. That's not part of the scheme. We'll trade it as a breakout. I'm inclined to do the first former, rather than the second former or the latter, and that is trade it short only. But of course, we are at a support level there as well, as will generally be the case when you're trying to trade range breaks. Of course, I'm not keen, I'd have to say, to trade this, but I am going to, because we haven't eliminated the short as a rule here. It is a beautiful Tuesday afternoon, Paul P. I've got 100% agreement there. If this breaks, of course, before the open, which is now a minute and 45 away, there would be no trade anyway. But let's have a look at the shorts, and if we enter, it would be at 1.3757 with a stop loss, which would be crazy if you put your stop loss there, wouldn't it? You'd have to put it up here somewhere. So 137.90 would be the stop loss. That I can tell you. 137.90. And if there is a breakout here, as I say, we wouldn't be trading it anyway. Let's see. And it looks like it may break before the open. Certainly smelling like that at the moment. At this point, I'd still use it. And if that's the case, the entry will be, why is that a different, that's okay. 1.3705. That's only if it doesn't break short, which it now has. So it's a no-go. We won't be trading that. Rightio. So that takes that off the agenda for the day. The breakout has already occurred, in my humble opinion, and it's too dangerous to go long. So that's a no for me. We won't be trading the pound in the breakout scenario. What we will be doing, however, and I'll take you through these. We had a short order on Aussie US dollar late last week. Was it Wednesday? It wasn't that late, was it? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we traded it, yes. We've now come back, and which is my normal MO when we're trading head and shoulders here, is to trade the break and retest. We now have a retest on the daily chart. Now, had I been doing my analysis this morning, I probably would have said yes to this candle here had it been a white body, similar to what we've got here now. It isn't, of course. It is a black body, and therefore I would prefer to go and have a look at something a little bit better than that. And here I see probably a couple of opportunities, this bar here and this bar here. Where do you put your entry? Do you put it underneath this bar, or do you put it underneath the swing? And I think underneath the swing is probably the best value. Well, it's the safer way, let me put it that way. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to play a short underneath this bar here. I'm going to put my stop loss above this bar here. So that is Aussie US dollar. Let's place that order. It is a sell stop. No need to go nuts here. You'll get plenty of opportunity to build a position if it does go. So yeah, about 0.25%, something like that. It is a sell stop. And the entry level is going to be, as I said, underneath the swing at 76.24, 0.7624. The stop loss above here at 76.66, let's call it 0.7666. Ooh, spooky. And we'll deal with our take profits in just a moment. So 76.24 is the entry. Stop loss is at 76.66. All right, that's that one sorted. Well, almost sorted. I'll put this up here for you guys so that there can be no fudging. And it is Aussie US dollar. It's a sell at 0.7624. Stop loss 0.7666. And I didn't give you a TP1, did I? TP1. Righto, what have we got for TP1? We go through there. This level here looks interesting. Around about there somewhere. So 76, the figure, eh? 0.766, sorry, 0.7600 will be TP1. $0.7660. Okay. I have that in the market. Don't have TP1 in the market. I'll fix that later. Two more that I'm having a look at. Now, pound Kiwi, those of you who are not in pound Kiwi may be a little bit hesitant to take this one. Those who have been in pound Kiwi since we got into it back in February. February? It was actually before that. No, it's EuroCAD. We've been in longer. Here. March, in fact. 1st of March. I'm going to scale into this here, above this bar here. I'm going to put my stop loss below the weekly pivot. So I'm adding the position, and the weekly pivot is at 1.9575. So we go 1.9570 will be the stop loss. The entry will be at 1.9656. 1.9656. Is that right? Doesn't look right. Yeah, it is. Okay. So we've got 86 pips of stop loss. Can we get a first take profit at the daily pivot is the question. Daily pivot's at 1.9703. We'll call that 1.9697. So that would be 41 pips. Yeah, that's all good. So that'll be TP1. Again, I'll put this up here for you. Second buy at 1.9656. Stop loss at 1.9570. TP1 at 1.9697. Okay. That's that one. Again, those of you who are in pound Kiwi are doing this for free. If it's a loser, even if you traded at 0.25%, because we have already banked more than that on our first two positions. So this is a buy stop at 9656. Those who are not in the pound Kiwi trade, you may want to reassess this. This could well have a deeper pullback than what we're anticipating here. But I don't want to miss the scale in if it's there. 1.9570 is the stop loss. Okay. And TP1 is just about 9697. Bang on it. Righto, that's number 2. Number 3, US dollar, Canadian dollar. Don't tell me we've missed it already. Yeah, I want to trade this on an hourly chart, I think. Why did I want to? Oh, okay. No, it changed in the last few minutes. That was a bearish decisive bar, and that's the one I wanted to trade, but it changed color very, very rapidly. I'll hang around and see what this does here, but if this pulls back and does give me a bearish decisive bar, I will look to enter that long. Now, this is a bit of a tricky one, because if you're trading the range, you were probably looking for the bottom of it before we went long. But I was just going to play a little tricky one on an hourly chart as an ABC across the daily pivot. So a double cross on the daily pivot. I may have to wait now because I've missed that entry. Okay, no harm done. We've still got 2 new orders in the market. If you missed them, just give us a hoy and I'll give you those numbers again. Aussie US dollar, it's a sell, and pound Kiwi is a buy. Now, the dollar, as I said, the pound versus the dollar, broke out before we before the open, so that was a no-go for me. What we would needed to have done under the old system is put an entry there, so we would have been triggered in at this point. And it would have been crazy to put a stop loss there. You would have to put your stop loss up here. So you would have had 45 pips of risk. So your first take profit would be down here somewhere beyond the S1. And that's not impossible, of course. We do have a head and shoulders sitting there. I think I'm prepared, if we were to get a nice retest of the neckline there, to maybe take a little short, but it's a no from me. As I said, we got the breakout before the open, so no trade. And I wouldn't want to be trading long into an untested daily pivot either. So let's see how that pans out. We are at support here as well. We may be in a little bit of a holding pattern here. until a bit later in the day. G'day, Lewis. How you doing, buddy? Good call on the short on the small time frame on the euro yesterday. Well done. G'day, John. Cannell unblocked, and I missed the UK 100 by the Open. Did Ash trade the UK Open?
Do you know, mate, I was up at 3:30 this morning, and I just couldn't sleep. We just the clocks have gone forward here, and it really has messed me up a little bit. So
it does, doesn't it, for the first few days? I agree with that.
I didn't think it would be quite as extreme, but yeah, I was up at 3:30, and I thought, I might as well go and do some work. So I came and did some work because we've got an event on the weekend, and I went back to sleep about maybe I finished about 5:50, so near 6 o'clock, and then at 7:45, my daughter came in and said, "It's time to get up, Daddy." So I was like, okay.
It's only just gone past that.
I know. So
okay.
No. So the answer is my head wasn't ready for anything.
Cool. Got it.
So no, I didn't. But I am fundamentally long on UK on the FTSE. But no, I didn't trade the Open. I just I will double check to see what everybody's talking about with that.
All right, I'll just refresh everybody. I've gone and put an order on the Aussie short, just below the swing here, with a stop loss above there, and I put an order long on what was that pair? Pound Kiwi. This is an add point for you or a scale in for me, with an entry above this bar here and a stop loss underneath the weekly pivot. It may be that I'll cancel this order at some stage because we may well be in for a bit more of a retracement, maybe to that breakout area at least. But in fact, that makes sense to me. But if this is so strong as that big bar last week, we may not get that opportunity. So I'm happy to risk a little bit of what we've won already by putting an order above that bar. If it goes, it goes. If we get that further pullback, then of course we can look for an add point down here. That'll all work for me as well. Australia dollar. What was the TP1 on the Aussie dollar? Okay, TP1 was 0.7660, which I'll put on here. Oh, it's already there. Sorry, 7600. Have I got 76? I do. Sorry, my apologies. Wrong number. There we go. That sorts that out. Thank you, Gary, for pulling me up there. I agree, Lewis. It may even test that breakout level, as I said. That wouldn't surprise me at all. If it does, and without taking us in, that's fine. In fact, that's probably better still. It'll give us a better price. But we'll look for that in the next, maybe even a day or so. It may take a while to get down there. But if it's ready to go, then we're ready to take it, and that's what I'm doing here. Bit of a hint of a definite area to it's a sell area, no question, but it could get a wriggle on as well. We'll see. So, mate, sorry, that's me up to date. Didn't trade the pound, as I said, because we did break out of that range before London Open. In fact, it was there seconds before the London Open, so we decided to make that.
Yeah, well, that's got to follow the rules on this, and interesting. I think that we're seeing such a strong dollar come into play. I mean, relatively speaking, up at 93 now. I'm finding, sorry, thank you, Angel, thank you. You normally tell me about my mic down, Jeff. I miss you. You missed it.
You were kind of half on, half off, and because you just got out of bed, I didn't really want to hassle you too
much. Always hassle me. Okay, let me share screen. So, yeah, a few things that I think are interesting. Oil is really interesting, and we're going to have to talk about the technicals really. Gold as well. We'll get to in a moment, and there's one that I want to get your opinion on. Oil really interesting. It's unlikely, in my opinion, to break out of this area. probably have to time that line at that level up a little bit. So we're in an area, we're in a sell zone here now. You might want to tip it down a bit, you might want to put it up a little bit, but it's in an area where it would suggest some selling. Actually, if we do it like this, then we'll get the exact spot. Let's put the ray on and we'll get the exact spot. There we go. So we're right on top of this. So we're on a monthly time frame here. So very, very significant time frame. And if we were looking at anticipating a reversal pattern on the monthly, well, interesting point. John's asking about the markets cashing in. I think there might be something else at play. Let me see. Here we go. Right, which I'll discuss in a moment. So if we were gonna anticipate what may happen next, this is a relatively strong level. You know, we got this this point here. There's a point here. There's a point here. Point here, and now we're kind of back at this this zone again. So technically speaking, I would anticipate a dip down and possibly give us the right shoulder somewhere around about there before we start moving up again. So and because it's on a monthly chart, we might be waiting for quite some time on this, and you know, it's well worth switching your time frame strategy to try and get something where you would hold on to this. Now this won't match people that just want to kind of get in and out of the market, because you will potentially, as I say, be holding on to it for a couple of months, a year, you know, maybe even a year. I mean, this did take quite a few months to establish itself, so it could take quite a while to come down there. But you know, by the end of the year, we might see this down here. So it's one of those that you probably want to be getting into the market somewhere about here, not worrying too much about what the shorter term timeframes, i.e. the hour and below, are doing, and putting a stop just at the higher end of the bar. The stop will wipe out the profits. Not necessarily. You know, if you were holding on to it for a year, I mean, we're talking about sevens. So you'd be looking at a 2 to 1. Not necessarily, because if you were able to kind of like have something for a year, you could always kind of hop in to more trades, as you know, if it does start to go in your favor. So there would be a way to play it where you would be looking at a longer term move. I wouldn't have thought, you might well be right about, you know, if you just had one position, but I'm not so sure on that. I'm not 100% convinced that you would get completely wiped out with swaps, because if that was the case, then how could anybody make money over a long period of time in the market when they're looking at you know, trades that do last 3 to 6 months, and you know, that's probably the most common time frame that that professional traders will try and hold for. They'll be holding for a few weeks to a few months, and they will hold up to, you know, can hold up to a year. So I wouldn't be too convinced about that. And as I say, you can always add to it. But anyway, so I think that there is a potential for this one to come down. Now, if we look at these on on short-term timeframes, what's going on? Well, we did have a big drop to the downside. We've had a really good hold with this particular bar here. And that would suggest that maybe this week, you know, we would attempt to get back up, maybe back to the highs again. So it might not even be this week. We might even be, you know, making the case that it's potentially a little bit early to be getting into this one. But it's certainly one to kind of have on the watch list. When we get to the daily, things change a little bit, because we actually do have a reversal pattern on the daily, and the reversal pattern is this head and shoulders. So we got this this left shoulder, this head, and this right shoulder coming in here, and you couple that with the fact that we've got a trend line, which when we extrapolate along here, we would be looking at something. I mean, it might even be along here. We've got this trend line break. Look at that. So we've broken out of the broader channel, and it's possible that yeah, and that is a channel as well. I don't know how you duplicate that. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do it like this instead. Let's do it as a channel. Oh, why can't I select that? What's happened here? I think my MC4 is just frozen up, mate.
The sod.
Oh, here we go. That's it. It's back again. Okay, so we've got this channel here, which for some reason is in white. It's in black, sorry. You can't see it. There we go. This channel here now, measured move on that channel brings us to. There's the break point there. Brings us to here. So this is the technical picture, and I'm not saying by any stretch that we've got a trade here, but let's just build the technical picture first. So we've got a technical reason to be going short, a great area to go short as well. As I say, you could trade this on the monthly by putting stops at the highs, because you are looking for something relatively deep to try and get to that inverted head and shoulders pattern. That is suggesting that the right shoulder would be here rather than down at that bottom. So then you're gonna have to kind of make a judgment call on whether $7 to the downside on oil is would give you a justification of $8 to the upside. And the only way you could say that that's a worthwhile stop is as an initial trade that gets you in, and as it starts to move, that you can add to. So there would be a way of playing it. Now you're gonna have to be sort of quite cute with how you manage the risk. Or you could just look to try and get in around here somewhere, and then look for the trend line up here on the daily for a stop. So you could be looking at maybe a $3 stop, and you'd be aiming for around about $9 to the downside, $9 to the downside. So there looks like a 3-to-1 trade there at minimum. Now the question really comes that would come next is, what does the other data suggest about this? Right. So Lewis is saying the OPEC meeting on Thursday, and oil will always surge after that statement, and that's really good knowledge, Lewis. Now I don't know if you've done some genuine testing on that, or whether that's more of an opinion. But if it's an opinion because you've seen it happen on, I don't know, 20 occasions, and you've kind of got the evidence to prove that, that would say stay out of the trade until Thursday and then see what happens. Or maybe that weekly time frame that we looked at with this particular bar is going to hold firm, and the trade isn't for this week, and you'd want to see it continue to turn around if it didn't go back to or beyond the highs. So that kind of information is really useful, but obviously make sure that it's backed up by data rather than being from the past 10 occasions. Well, I think that's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good basket of data. If it's been that every single one of the last 10 means it surges to the upside, going short before that particular announcement doesn't seem too wise. So appreciate that, mate. And this is what Lewis is talking about, is the OPEC meeting, and this is going to be the key to that oil trade. And the anticipation is that they will probably reiterate either holding or certainly some kind of supply constraint to not allow oil to move to the downside, because there's not this oversupply coming into the market. Now, the OPEC members will all have to agree with that. Many different things could happen at that meeting, and people will be waiting for that number. So the first thing that says is we're probably not going up by a huge amount until that meeting, and we're probably not going down by a huge amount before that meeting. So we need to temper, how we use the information, on the chart, by understanding what's potentially going to go on with the fundamentals. Now, Lewis is saying that over the last 10 occasions of the meetings, the market has surged to the upside. So that would suggest maybe there are still some short-term moves to the upside that are probable. But it's also saying that after that meeting has happened, if it doesn't break out, that would probably increase the likelihood that we are going to fall. So I think that we can start building a case for certainly putting oil on the watch list. Maybe not this week, but certainly towards the end of this week and into next week.
Mate, what's your take on when you're at an inflection point, which is where we are here? It's either head and shoulders or the trend line's broken and retested. There's all sorts of things going on there. The pivots are being double crossed and multi crossed. What's your opinion on the longer it takes?
I think it depends on. So this is where I think the news does become really important and really useful, because I think if the news comes out and it's bearish, and the market doesn't go anywhere, that starts to suggest that it's probably not going to break down because it's had its catalyst and it didn't break down. So I would be wanting to, maybe a kind of an OCO trade would be an okay way to play it, where you're basically going to trade the breakout of the range. But if I was going to be building a position from that particular point, I'd probably be much more comfortable building it on the long side. Now, this is why I think Thursday is really important, because if OPEC come out and say something which should be bullish for oil and it doesn't go higher, at that point, then I'd be quite keen to start building a position to the downside. So the longer it takes. Yeah, it would matter, but it would suggest that there is going to be probably quite a heavy break in either direction, technically speaking. But I think you can garner quite a bit of information from what the message should have delivered, and when it doesn't deliver that, it starts to suggest that maybe the opposite is about to happen. So I think Thursday could be an interesting day for oil.
Yeah, I think that's actually the best case scenario, because you can cash in on that.
Yeah. There was one other one I wanted to discuss with you, mate, but I see Shukri's in the room, and I don't want to sort of take up too much of Shukri's time. So let's brush on this one really, really quickly.
Yep.
And it's the Aussie Kiwi. And we were talking about the Aussie Kiwi not so long ago, about it kind of hitting the two areas of a range, and I guess I wanted to get your opinion on what you thought of this. Downside all the way for you? I mean, we're right on the top of the monthly area here, right on top of the monthly range. If this does tend to range, and again, I suppose it's the same sort of thing. It does trend. If this breaks out, is it going to really explode, or should we just be looking at the short, because that's the Aussie Kiwi and that's the dynamic?
Yeah, look, it is a classic ranging pair. There's no two ways about that. But I had a little exercise that I did on Sunday when I was doing my analysis, and I looked at Euro Aussie and I looked at Euro Kiwi, and I found that the Euro versus the Kiwi was far stronger than it was versus the Aussie. Now, whether that's a nuance with the Euro or otherwise is yet to be determined, I suppose. But there was a massive difference in the charts. And if you want, I'll show you what that was.
Yeah, let's have a quick look.
Because to me, it was quite interesting. So I'm actually basing my view on that. Share screen. That's what I want to do. So with Euro Aussie, we had a big bullish engulfing bar, followed up by a bar that broke the previous breakout level. Then we came back off that, went into consolidation, probably a little bit of a sell-off, matched the low or maybe a higher low. And then all we could do, the best we could do, was hit the monthly pivot and not take out the previous high. So that was a little bit bearish for mine. When I then compared that to Euro Kiwi, exactly the same breakout. Well, not exactly the same, actually. It only went to the resistance level or the former support level and fell back off. It went straight into consolidation. Then we got the same breakout. Well, in fact, a far better breakout bar that then took out the highs, took out the breakout level. It's doing exactly the same thing now by coming back. But to me, that was a far stronger signal, Euro Kiwi, than it was Euro Aussie, because it did take out those highs and certainly the previous breakout level. So on that basis, I thought, well, if you line those up, the Aussie's got to be in better shape than the Kiwi at this point in time. but neither's neither's showing anything against the euro at the moment. Interestingly, I haven't lined them up with anything else because I thought that was pretty obvious. But I thought last week that we got the hint and we missed the entry that this was going long, and we spoke about it in the show. And I don't even remember what I said, but I should have taken the trade and didn't. And that was as far as we've gone. I think we're going to have a retest of these highs. That's kind of where I'm at the moment. We're through these ones. We've closed clearly above these highs here, and I think we're going to have a look at this one. The trend line probably will support that a little bit. So I think there's a little bit more in this at the moment. Nice deep retracement would be good, maybe back to this level. And then I'm a buyer, but maybe only to here, mate. I don't think it's, as you say, I don't think it's a fait accompli that we're going 100 pips or 200 pips here by any stretch of imagination, because this is, by its very nature, a ranging pair, and they tend to follow one another, as we're now seeing versus the euro. But that really did stand out to me, that the euro versus the Aussie couldn't raise a sweat after it put in these two big bars, but against the Kiwi it just smashed through those levels, which was interesting.
Yeah, that is.
So
okay,
that
mate,
was my take.
I think we're probably that might be a evolving story. Then we'll keep our eye on the Aussie Kiwi. Let's bring Shukri in, because I'm interested in what's going on here. We got gold, which is sinking, Bitcoin, which can't do anything but rise, but it's not breaking out. I mean, is that telling at all, Shukri? Are we likely to get another dip in Bitcoin, or is it, are we kind of done with those?
That's normal, because February and March are bearish, but April is bullish.
Oh, is it? All right. Yeah. So as soon as we hit tomorrow, then we should be looking at Bitcoin long anyway.
It's bullish because it didn't go down a lot in March.
You're right.
Yeah, it actually touched a high in March and actually came back, which is bullish.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to come back.
Yeah. It's very strong, isn't it? I mean, I thought we were, and I'm really upset with myself because there was a trade that I missed on a Bitcoin stock. I was looking to buy this stock, and I couldn't get it at the price that I wanted. I wanted it at 160, 170, and it came to £2, and I said no, I'm going to wait for the price that I was after, but I should have just scaled in, and I'm upset now because I think I might have missed it, because it's now up 40% within a couple of days.
Because what's happening is they looked at the on-chain data. A lot of Bitcoin has not been moving since it touched 10,000. So at 10,000, they would, the wallets were exchanging, but now I think people are just holding on.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I suppose that the crypto space has made holding on to these digital currencies but so attractive. Now they're kind of paying yield. They're paying yield on Bitcoin and everything. Why would you sell?
Yeah, why would you sell? So they were saying that this Tesla thing of allowing people to buy Tesla with Bitcoin is just a gimmick. Why would you want to buy Bitcoin? Why would you want to buy a Tesla with Bitcoin? You'd buy it with cash. Or
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Of course it is a gimmick. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because the fiat won't provide you with north of 5%, but all these cryptocurrencies are offering that now.
Yeah, they do.
So
not only that. Let's look at Jeff's cryptocurrency. Let's look at what Jeff. Oh yeah, man.
What's that doing? I haven't looked at that for a while.
You're a proper investor, Jeff.
$547.
That's US.
Yeah, that's US dollars. So that's 4 times your price.
That's cool. Good man.
That's very cool, mate.
That's very cool. But before we go to this, I'll tell you why it's moving, because the parachains are coming. But before this is an example of an NFT. I'm so stupid. I was too emotional. I bought this Vector NFT for like $3,000, but it's still a start. So, because Vettel was doing very bad during the weekend, it went down to 2008. I should have bought the Lance Stroll one. I would have made money here.
Oh, interesting, mate. That's really interesting. You bought the Lance, and what was Lance Stroll's on offer for initially?
It's the same price.
They were both at 2,800.
Yeah, 3,000.
They were both at 3,000. Lance Stroll goes up. That is fascinating. Do you know what? I love that, because what you're basically doing is almost kind of. I mean, why wouldn't you buy them both? You'd hedge one out, wouldn't you then?
Because I was stupid. I wanted to buy the former champion.
Oh, do you know, mate? There's no way on the planet that I would have put Lance Stroll to get a point and Vettel not to. And all this says to me is Vettel's becoming much more of an attractive price. I mean, it's a shame. You can't sell these, can you? You can't trade them in a way. You can sell.
Yeah,
I don't mean sell. I mean, could you sell Lance Stroll, buy Vettel, for example? So you're kind of
no, I can't.
You can't do that.
You're talking about that Lance Stroll versus Vettel
the spread,
pair, right?
Yeah. Could you trade the spread on it? I mean, that'd be fascinating. So what happened to Lewis Hamilton's coin?
Hasn't come out yet.
Oh, okay.
So that's something I have to have. But anyway, back to Kusama. So Kusama is rising here, right? And this is because Akala here, which is the DeFi hub of Polkadot, has become the first one to win a parachain. Here, where was it? Down here. Yeah, it's become the first one. Yeah, won the first parachain slot auction on Polkadot testnet. Okay, so this is number one, numero uno, and they also developed Karura. So Karura, which is a bird, I found out it's a bird. It's a half man, half bird. It's actually Japanese. Although this company...
Right. So we were looking at New Zealand, was looking at this bird. No, it's actually half man, half bird. So it's Japanese.
These guys are based in Auckland.
So what am I going to be called?
You're the half man, half Tasmanian devil, right?
Should I show you? Should I show you now?
Yeah. Show me.
Okay, hang on. Where is the bloody thing?
We have to find a good name for you. We have to find something.
All right,
like
name this.
Name, Polynesian name. Share your screen, Jeff.
No, I can't find the bloody thing. Oh, here it is.
Okay, let's let Jeff share the screen.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
We have to have a naming competition for this.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
This is cool.
We didn't come up with a prize, right? All expenses paid. Fortnight in Tasmania or something.
Something's going to happen very soon. I'm not going to tell you, Jeff. Somebody's going to contact you. I won't tell you who.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, because now everything, I'll tell you guys in next week's show, NFTs change everything. The thing that we know about ourselves change also, because it's literally where we ourselves can get listed on the crypto market, and Jeff's value could go to 1,000 and next day it goes to 400. Oh, speculation, man.
So what other NFTs?
Quick if it goes up there, mate.
Yeah. What other NFTs are of interest in your opinion, Shukri? We got obviously F1.
Now I'm just waiting for F1, but they're gonna come up with Formula 3 first. MotoGP has already been out. Football, soccer, I don't know. They're still confused on that, but that will be big. That will be big. But basketball is always big. Yeah. So now, Jeff, have you your Kusama ready or not? Now, here's the thing.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Look at this. Now they're deciding on the wallet because a lot of people are complaining now. Look at this, 100 car in prizes. Now they've done the ratio. Now it's like one Kusama is 12 car. Okay, so one car is actually about $40. So they're giving like 4,000 in prizes tonight. Wow. But you have to answer quizzes. So that just shows how this thing, the inflation here is very, very quick. It's just, I don't know, it's just getting silly, but it keeps on going up because nobody knows how to price these things anymore. And this is the thing for Karura, right? See? Karura, and it should be staking. They're staking the KSM. So now what's happening now? Everyone's complaining. I think one of the Polkadot wallets has a problem, so they don't know where to stake now. Well, that's who? Who's that? So they're just waiting now. Okay, just waiting now. Yeah. How do he block all this? So now everyone is like totally FOMO nowadays. So everyone wants to know how to get in. Oh, there are even Russians here, man. The Russians are coming. See, look, and now everyone is unstaking now. See, this is the problem with Polkadot, Polka wallet with 28 unbonding. So this guy may not even get into this, okay? Because this doesn't count. So now everyone is taking the Kusama and the Polkadot out. And if they can't take, because of this is why it's going up, Jeff. Look at this. It's 28 days. They can't wait. So they buy new ones. Yes, and that's why you saw that Kusama, see? Well, KSM is 7 days. So everyone's going FOMO now. Oh, maybe 7 days is over because it's going to start, I don't know, maybe in the next 2 days or so. Everyone's asking now, see? Where do you send? See, everyone's asking where? So we are waiting that everyone's detailed waiting will be shared. Okay, yeah, but I've been waiting for so long. See, so you can register here, wait list, but I don't know whether the wait list is closed. But let's look at Moonbeam. Moonbeam, same thing here. It's always like this. Okay, let's see here. Let's go here and let's go Moonbeam. So now everyone's waiting for all of this. Moonbeam network. Yeah, again, look at that. Q1, Q2. Okay, so again, this is Kusama and Polkadot. So they have already enabled it. Now everyone's asking when. See, allocated for the auction purposes because we know that already the ratio for Karura, so we know we can make money. That will make money. You don't even have to worry about the price of Kusama now. I have heard that eventually Kusama's target will be 1,500. I'm not sure, but it kind of makes sense because these things will hype. We will hype the price of Kusama, and people will buy Kusama when they see Moonbeam and Karura go up. So that's
10x.
Is Moonbeam launched?
Yeah, it's just being launched. All of these Moonbeam and Glimmer is just being launched. So see, not on sale yet. Everyone's asking now, like please pin. Yeah. Everyone's asking, yeah. And this guy doesn't understand. Now, this guy is something that other. This is the problem. Someone like this, TEs, I hope it's not one of you guys here. This is a guy that will get burned. You know why? He's looking at Ethereum. This is a Polkadot. And this is the problem now. Okay, let me explain to you the problem. I don't blame this guy. TEs is not one of you, right? No, Gary, no, right? No, it's not. Okay, good. It's not one of you. Now, this is the problem. This is where it gets confusing. Because if you see Polkadot now, because these things are not out yet, we have been buying tokens using Ethereum, right? Because it's only launched. It's just launched. It hasn't even launched yet. Only the first parachain is out. So in order to buy quote unquote Polkadot tokens, we have been using Ethereum. So everyone thinks it is Ethereum. Can't blame him. He's right. Is it ERC20? Now, this is what will happen. If you guys are buying any Polkadot coin on Ethereum, this is what I want you to look at. One day it's going to migrate. You better migrate. Because you know why? If you don't migrate, you might not be able to migrate ever. They will give you a period to migrate.
So people, you're migrating from Ethereum over to Polkadot.
Yes.
And this is mainly because of the gas fees. Is it?
Yeah. No, because Polkadot is something new altogether.
Okay.
Yeah, because we and even the wallets. I think I yesterday on the Karura thing, people were arguing. They were getting I don't know whether it's a newbie thing or I don't know whether people are saying it's a FOMO thing, but some people were getting their tokens stolen.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe it's new. The good thing about Ethereum is, although it's damn expensive, it's mature.
Yes. It's been around long enough. So you need to buy Polkadot and Kusama to buy Moonbeam.
Yes.
And without that, you can't get Moonbeam. And what's Moonbeam's solution? What are they providing?
What's happening now is if you look on Ethereum, there's so many developers, but on Polkadot there's not a lot.
Right.
Ethereum, on Polkadot there's this language called Rust. On Ethereum, there's this language called Solidity. Okay, Solidity sucks. I know Solidity sucks, but it's mature.
Yeah.
So there are more developers there. So the only way to get, if you don't want to change all these on, let's see whether we can buy Moonbeam. If you don't want to change the code, you put your application on top of Moonbeam and they will go onto Polkadot.
Ah, I see.
Right. And they're doing that now. In fact, one of the most famous exchanges, SushiSwap, is going on Moonbeam because they probably do not want to deploy people to redevelop again.
I see.
Right?
I see.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. It's
so Moonbeam's like a bridging code.
Yes, it's a bridging code. Yeah, correct.
I see.
So
and
it's good
it's much easier.
Yeah, it's much easier. So
right.
Yeah, and you see all this. Now this hype is not mega hype yet because we don't know the ratio yet. But yeah, for Karura, we know the ratio is now about $40 per car. Now everyone wants KAR.
yeah. Well, that's a great pick. So, is there anything else that's new out there that we should be looking at? I mean, this seems to be.
These are the first two, yeah. Moonbeam and these are the first two, but definitely there will be more. There will be more. Definitely.
Okay.
More.
Okay.
So this is why this guy is going faster than Polkadot.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, Polkadot is still struggling to make this all-time high, but look at that Moon Kusama is pretty high. Because whatever it is, the experimental network will always go first. So this is good also. That means in the Polkadot network now, you can make money twice, but you have to lock it for 1 year. But it doesn't matter. Now people know they will make money.
Well, so what you have to lock it for 1 year. So if you migrate from Polkadot over to Kusama, you can't trade it back again?
Yeah. You it's like what Jeff will do is this. Okay, this is what Jeff will do. Let me draw it out. So Jeff has already his Kusama here, right? So Jeff has his Kusama. Let me take this out. Oops, get out here. Yeah, Jeff has his Kusama. So what Jeff will do now is then he will go in and he will loan it. Say he will loan it to Karura because we know the ratio. Now, this still belongs to Jeff.
Yeah.
Tassie Devil.
Yeah.
You draw some hair here. Tassie Devil, long hair. Okay. Jeff has a new persona now. Okay. This is still his. This is still his, but he is loaning it. And Moonbeam is also like this. Now, here's the deal. The loan will be for 1 year to 2 years. And here's the deal. While he's loaning it, he's getting interest now in terms of 12 CAR.
Yeah.
And that's how, and this should be higher than that.
I see. Oh, that's interesting. So the kickback he's getting is in CAR.
Yes.
And as long as the price of car goes up, then Jeff's making much more money.
And everyone in the class should know, right? CAR is a faster racing horse than Kusama.
Yeah. Well, just
what you want. You want definition. The fastest horse.
So,
however, and if CAR really does well,
for me.
However, if CAR does well, Jeff gets a bonus here and bonus here. However, if you go in not a good one, a not so good one, as some people FOMO and it's not good, then once this goes up to ridiculous levels, you better sell it off because then you're on a free ride while waiting for this.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So with the car, can he cash that part in when he likes?
Yes.
Okay. But with the Kusama, he can't do anything for a year.
He can't do that. Yeah. And
so
this is the thing. This is the thing. You see, this is the return of crypto. It always goes up and then goes down. So this is a new game. If you guys can get in the earlier ones, you will make money. The problem is when people come in because they heard, and it's good that Sui is here, John is here. So let me see. Let's say that an Ahmad comes in later next year. This is the problem. He hears Sui and John making the money, but he can't make money anymore at this stage.
Yeah.
I hope the guys in class C, right? That's why I have to change the curriculum every season because the making money this time is not the same as making money last time.
That's interesting, mate. So the risk is that eventually Kusama does drop down to zero again, and as long as you're in early enough, you'll catch some of you'll catch it on its way down, but not all the way down.
You'll catch it here. And then when you get Kusama back, whatever happens, hey, Jeff has two choices. He can have what do you import, Jeff? He can import beer, or he can import kava, or he can import wine, depending on the price of Kusama at that time. I don't know. I don't know.
All of it sounds good. I'm struggling ethically. I'm ethically challenged here because the people who are getting Ahmed, poor old chap.
Yes.
He's got Buckley's, right?
Yes, he is at a serious disadvantage, and this is why.
Well, that's one way to put it.
That is why people will continue to get burned. The later, it's harder. First, it's harder, but if you know the game, you have to know that if you come in later, you have to know what you can do. You have to know what you cannot do. You have to measure your returns. I am getting good returns now because today, my portfolio already hit 1 million US yesterday. And today I got an airdrop or an IDO from TrustSwap that's going to give me another 10K. But I am in the Simon group that time. This may not happen to you guys now. Yeah. It can happen, but you guys have to spend 16K here. So my 10K is clean, but people that come in now, you got to spend 16K. You haven't made your money yet. I have. You see that?
Yeah.
So I'm here and they're here. So you just can't do it. If you want to do it, you have to understand your ROI. But if they want to do it this way, they have to say, hey, I'm going to lock my money here. Do you really want to do that?
Yeah. So why doesn't it just crash at that point?
This one? Because these guys already made money. Yeah, they're out. It will crash. This is why many people will get burned next year. Guaranteed. It's always like this, always will be, ever since the Mississippi, ever since the tulip mania, whatever mania they was.
Yeah, that's really interesting, Sweet, because we got this theory kind of floating around with stocks that stocks are likely to start easing to the downside 1 year after the bottom of the pandemic, because that's when the big volume of buying was going on. So because they've gone up so far, people will start taking profits 1 year later because there's no tax implication, or the tax implications are less.
1 year, so it's 1 year.
1 year
in the US,
so it's very similar when we're looking at cryptocurrencies, because in 1 year's time, when the bulk of people when they got in early, they'll all exit at the same time because they've made their money and they're now allowed to exit, so they will, and they'll move on to something else.
And they pay less tax.
And they pay less tax, and also because their Kusama is not now locked up because it was a year, right? That was the fine point. So if you all got in around about the January, February, March time, on the early one, January, February, March next year is when we're going to start to see Kusama potentially come down. I get it, mate. I get it. So this is why it's really important to get in early. But I suppose that the real skill is making sure you pick the good coin early and you do research so you're not buying a load of rubbish.
Correct. And talking about the market, I watched CNBC yesterday, Ash. This is what they said. This makes perfect sense because people were talking about a blow off top at 4,001 for the S&P.
Yep.
So everyone's waiting for this. And here's the deal. This is what's funny here. Now, what is really funny here is that this is Larry Williams' chart, okay? Now, Larry Williams has drawn this thing turning around at around 14th May, which is the same as Gordon, which is like, I find that quite funny, man. Now, here's the deal. But Larry Williams also has a chart that says Bitcoin is going to go up higher on 15th May.
Right.
Okay. So I'm looking at this. Okay. Something has got to give. So I think this is what will happen. It's going to go up like this. Whatever happens, if the S&P goes down, Bitcoin will have to have a minor correction, and then we go back up again. Because around May is an event called Consensus, which talks about the new Bitcoin development. And this is always bullish. So that's what I think will happen.
Right.
So you are stuck, if you are caught here, you just hold on, you just go to sleep. Don't watch the screen. Don't watch CNBC. Watch Nickelodeon, watch cartoons. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, mate. All right. So really, what we're talking about is that that the next major dip in Bitcoin, we've really got to start scurrying and collecting.
Yes, Hanan. You just hold KSM because you lock it like Jeff. You can't do anything. You have to wait 1 year. I think for Karura, you wait 1 year. For Moonbeam, for River, you wait 2 years. But it doesn't matter because the car will go up, and now people are going crazy on car already. But the moon, I'm sure River will go up too, and you just get out before that. And then it just depends, if Hanan's in Malaysia, I don't know, if car is good, you holiday overseas. If not, you go to Penang. I don't know.
So you and your guys are now like really into the NFT space. That's right, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, we are. So we have a special NFT class on Thursday because it works with this dynamic. Now this is tough. See, goes down, goes up.
Yeah.
But never mind. I got Brian to buy this for me for 25% discount if it doesn't work out.
So
we have an agreement. Agreement.
When you're looking at the NFTs, we're really very much in the F1 space. We're not looking to. You're not looking at any art.
No. Let me. No, I'm not looking at that. That's John. John's supposed to. I don't know any arts. Yeah, but you know one thing. Do you know what is this song that's talk about the sea? This guy's on TikTok. Nathan something. He's Scottish. He's an ex-policeman.
Okay. The sea shanty song.
Yeah. What is that? The sea shanty.
It's at #1, isn't it?
That thing was finished in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I had the show yesterday. I saw the show. I was doing my live show yesterday, so I said, never mind. I'm gonna go in after my live show, and it was finished. And I'm like, what is a sea shanty?
Yeah, it's about. I think they're after a whale. I think they're after a whale in the song.
I know.
Yeah. Do you know what?
It's a new song.
It's a new song, mate, and it is it is a sea shanty. It's sort of like a genuine sort of classic sea shanty. And in my opinion, John will have an opinion on this as well. In my opinion, it's okay. It's quite quirky, but it's just fresh because we haven't heard a sea shanty for like 300 years or whatever. So people are like going mad. Oh yes, at #1. It was at #1 in the UK charts. I mean, it was very popular.
Which means NFT that terms.
Is it an NFT?
Yeah, it was an NFT.
Was it?
It sold out at the fastest rate of all NFTs on crypto.com.
When was that launched as an NFT? Straight away?
Last night.
Last night? Oh, you're kidding me.
I'm not kidding.
Okay.
I'm like, how did it go down so fast? And then I checked the TikTok. I didn't like the song, but hey, if the Brits like the song.
That's all that matters, mate. That's all that matters. All you need is the public to go mad for it. But it's one of those that it's a bit like I suppose.
Gilligan's Island? Is it Gilligan?
Probably. It's a what do they call it? Like a flash in the pan, but it's not a sound that will be round in 5 years' time. It's one of those. It's a fad. It's a fad that people are kind of jumping on. And it's not that it's a bad song. It's an all right song. My girlfriend was listening to it and going, "Oh, listen to how tight the harmonies are." And it's auto-corrected. It's like I was like, the harmonies are tight because somebody's basically in there on their computer making sure that everything is perfectly lined up because there's no mistake in it. And when there's no mistake, that it's just not possible. You can hear the mistake.
I didn't buy it because I didn't like the song. That was wrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely wrong, mate. Yeah. Auto-tune, exactly. It's an auto-tune. Exactly.
I should have followed the TikTok and followed the followers and say, okay. Since everyone's following it, although I don't like it, I should just buy it.
You should, but because the thing, and did it go up in price as well?
Yes, it did.
To how much? What was the launch and what it doubled? Did it?
The launch was about 100 something. Now it's like 500.
There is really. Do you know what, Shukri? There was a movement over here during, I suppose, around about maybe 10 years ago, maybe slightly more than that, where people were buying tickets for really popular concerts, and then they were going to stand outside the venue and selling those tickets for triple, quadruple, 10 times the amount. And this kind of reminds me of that. This reminds me of that. You know, well, you've always got touts. Touts are always doing it, but other people started doing it. You know, the general public like caught onto this and thought, you know what? I'm going to get on Ticketmaster and buy 100 tickets of a Madonna concert. I'm going to stand outside, and because people are just sort of mad for it, they will pay 10 times the amount. Now I know this because I got on board with this thing, and I bought tickets for a band called The Darkness when they were becoming unpopular. So I stood outside this venue at Alexander Palais with my, I think we bought 50 tickets of The Darkness, me and my friend, and I convinced her it was a great idea. And I ended up selling it back to one of the touts outside the concert for a 10th of the price that I bought it. Never did it again after that. But that's what. It's illegal now, Lewis. You're absolutely right. It's the touts.
It's karma, buddy. That's what that is.
Yeah, I think it is.
Because once again, I am ethically challenged with this. This is I'm going to have to look very closely at this.
Yeah,
I hold my hands up.
You see what's happening now because of the high gas fees. When you talk about NFT and gases, these are the main countries involved. Now, can you imagine what will happen when the gas fees goes down? Do you know that last time crypto was about Asia? It's now about the US, and now I know it's about the UK. No wonder you guys bought that Shanty NFT, which I can't understand.
Yeah.
So can you guys imagine when the gas price goes down? Guys, the Chinese, the Koreans, and the Japanese are even more speculative than you guys. And that's what we're going to have a lot of fun. Yeah, because these guys are not in yet full force. Southeast Asia is not in yet full force. When the gas fee is about $25, that's 100 ringgit. No one's going to spend 100 ringgit for gas.
Yeah. It's a brilliant space, mate. I mean, you know, this really does put people on even more of a level footing in some respects, because I almost feel like, you know, the stuff that you've been doing in the background when it comes down to the crypto space, you would need a decent amount of financial intelligence to be able to do what you've done. But when it comes down to NFTs, if you're looking at sports, actually people that are just really good with sports can make money on it. They don't need this kind of, you know, this digital intelligence that you would have had to have. So with this stuff, it is exciting, and it does open it up to the planet. You're absolutely right. Interesting you're saying about Formula 3000, because a lot of those guys, they actually migrate over eventually, don't they, to Formula One?
Correct.
I think Mika Hakkinen did that, went through that route, and
so now we know NBA is there. We know that the next one is NBA women. Okay, now.
Oh, really? Okay.
All the women players.
Yeah.
Not Britain. Okay, this is US.
Yeah.
NHL and NFL are definitely coming up. So this is
NFL.
exciting.
I'm excited about.
Yes. And you know why this is? You know why this is? Look, it's tied up to the US.
Yeah.
I don't know when the soccer is coming up, because the next one is UK. I wish they would have that. Yeah. So
Premier League would be kind of cool.
Correct.
NFL is really good though, because you get the draft. So
man,
you kind of get.
I didn't know you guys bought things you didn't like, actually. But you guys buy ugly music. I don't know why.
No, people do like it, mate. People do like that song. It's you know, and as I say, it's all right, but I can't think of the actual word, but it's a kind of a fad thing. But you guarantee it will be people that are under probably 21, 22 that are really popping that market up, you know. They understand this space, and they like all sorts of songs. It's a bit like the Macarena. That's what it reminds me of. It's a bit silly. It's a bit fun. It's a bit different.
I got it.
You know, so it's not something that you're going to go in 20 years' time. You know, you're going to put it on at the party when you're just all chilling out in the room or whatever. But it's something that was a bit of fun, and I think the sea shanty's a bit like that. It's a novelty. It's got that novelty aspect to it.
That's actually what I do play at my parties, and everyone goes crazy. Because they all start singing, "Oh, my old man's a dustman, he wears a dustman," and all that sort of stuff. See?
Well, do you know, mate? Yeah, I mean that's the kind of thing that this, you know, if somebody released a song of "My Old Man's the Dustman," of a sort of London town song, that would also have a novelty.
I probably did.
Yeah, you might have done. But yeah, that would also have a novelty aspect, and that would also probably sell a lot of records. Because if you think about most of the things that went to number one in the last probably 20, 30 years, most of them have got that kind of novelty aspect rather than the really deep quality, you know. What was that guy from Psy from Korea? What was that song called?
Yeah.
Gangnam Style, right? Same sort of thing.
Yes.
It was really, it's really novelty. It's got a novelty thing. It's a bit silly. You made a really cool video, and people buy into that stuff.
Look at the whole of Bollywood, man.
Bollywood, yeah. There was a song called Barbie Girl that we had over here, and there was an awful song, and that went to #1 for the similar reasons. It had the novelty aspect to it. Now the sea shanty's not in that category. It's that bad, because it's not that bad. It's all right, but it is the novelty thing that makes it sell.
This is where, you know what, I couldn't get this, because being raised in the US and having been to university in the US, if you look at the US pop charts, songs like this will have a different board. It's not the Billboard.
Yes, they would.
You know?
Yes, they
but
would.
I couldn't see that. I just could not see that.
Yeah. Listen out for stuff like that. Yeah. Have a think. If you think it sounds quirky and it's got a look to it, it will probably sell in the UK.
I got that. Okay, understood. Understood. That's all I need to know to get rich. That's all I need to know to get rich now. I'm ready.
So tell me this. Ash, you would know.
Yeah.
Copyright on My Old Man's Adjustment. When is that still valid? when does
why would I know, for one? And two, why are you asking me? Are you looking to release this as an NFT?
Well, there could be a whole bunch of these things that all these novelty songs from yesteryear, in particular the Tommy Steele's of the world, the Ray, what's his name, the American. Can't think of his
Lonnie
name.
Donegan, mate. It was Lonnie Donegan, and so I suspect it probably has got some sort of copyright to it.
Yeah, but doesn't copyright run out at some stage? Or you've
got
75 years. Thanks,
75 years, yeah.
But 75 years. What I'm sure the likes of Universal and Chrysalis wouldn't give up their publishing rights on something like that. They buy it back again. It won't run out, but they'll buy it back again, right? If it's selling, they're going to buy it back again, and they'll probably be the only ones that know.
What if we rang Lonnie and said, "Hey, listen, buddy, this is going to
come on the show."
Yeah, come on the show. This is going to run out in 10 years' time. You know, how many times has this been played around the world right now? And you say, oh, last time I got a check was 1967 or something.
Yeah.
You say, well, look, I'll give you $10 for it, right? And then it becomes and we could have a whole list of these things.
Do you know what, mate? I mean, I initially I thought you were, saying something quite ridiculous, but actually, I do actually think you're hitting on something. And the reason I say that is that there is a business movement where people will go out and buy the licenses for old movies that are just totally forgotten about. They'll buy the licenses for them. Now, you think that if we've got this space with NFT, where you've got a low barrier to entry when you're releasing this stuff into the market again, a lot of people will go out and go, you know what, I might go and buy an NFT of Gone with the Wind, and because you've got a mass of people that know it, then you will that will sell probably better than So actually, I think you are onto something. I think that looking for these licenses that are about to expire from these songs and then you jazz it up a little bit. Release the same thing. Put a really cool little cartoon with a guy carrying a dustbin, and you can release.
You could have Ash on the piano. You could have Shukri on the drums. I could be hitting the Tassie Devil on the head. That'll make a noise.
The good thing about this, I'd like to own that Gone with the Wind thing. I might not even watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, mate.
It's mine, dude.
Exactly. So I think that what you're saying has mileage. Where everybody's looking at the newest thing. I mean, what we've been discussing, Shukri, is that we're Lawrence Stroll and Vettel, which is present. But actually, there's probably quite a big market for if you look a bit further back with copyright, which is about to run out, and say I'm going to own all that stuff. I'm going to own all the indie bands from the 80s and 90s. If I could get an NFT, I mean, you wouldn't get Nirvana, but there was many other bands that were under Nirvana that people would have forgotten about.
Go back further. I think what's one of the biggest age demographics in the world right now?
I would have thought retirees. Is it? It certainly would be.
Baby boomers.
Baby boomers, yeah.
So you go back to their prime time when they were out in the spring and doing things that they shouldn't have been doing most often.
Yeah. Tommy Steele.
Tommy Steele, as I mentioned him before.
Yeah.
Jerry and the Pacemakers, you know, but all those novelty songs more so
Yeah.
than Jerry and the Pacemakers. Ray, can't think of his name. You know, The Streak.
No.
I can't
No,
play
but
it. I can't.
this is where you come in, you see, Jeff. I mean, Shukri and I won't have
I'm a
will have
beginner.
very little knowledge of these guys, but you've got your finger on the pulse for once.
Still there, buddy. It's still there.
Yeah. I think this has got mileage. Now we're going to need you, Shukri, because Jeff and I won't know how to implement this. But I think we could go out and find some licenses and release them as NFTs. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, you
really
ring Lonnie. He's in your part of the world.
See, everyone thought DeFi was the killer app. It wasn't. It's NFTs.
Right.
Surprise.
Right. Yeah,
but it's good. You know, I think it's good because it allows us to become our own mini corporation.
Yes.
And that's important. You know, if you're not good, I won't make money. If I'm good, I make a lot of money. And that's fair, you know?
Well, do you know what? I think that's really interesting, mate. I was looking on OpenSea the other day, and I was looking at some of this stuff, and I thought that most of this is absolute trash.
I know.
But then when you look at it, they haven't sold any. So people aren't stupid. They're not just going to go and buy an NFT because it's an NFT. Right. So you're right. You know, the good stuff will ultimately rise to the top, or the novelty stuff, or, you know, something with a story will rise to the top.
Sea shanty, man. I gotta do my sea shanty thing.
Sea shanty, yeah. Always come back to that. You know, the Kings of Leon launched an NFT as well of their album. What would be really interesting with that is if they get a hit off that record. If one of them come, because I don't think they've released the singles yet. If they get a really, really big hit off it, then you could be sitting on a little gold mine with that one possibly as well. But I suspect that, you know, you might buy some of those albums and they don't really fluctuate that much from where you bought them.
And the good thing about this, it shows that, contrary to our opinion, people want original things. We just didn't know how to do it.
Yes. Do you know the other thing with this?
It just happened in KL. I always go to Petaling Market, you know, like, hey.
Yeah. The thing with this, Shukri, is that this could actually be the savior for the music industry in many respects, because the music industry hasn't really found how to combat piracy. But this might be the savior of musicians from here on in. Yeah. Quite an exciting time probably to be a musician again now.
And you want to know more crazy thing? You see Jeff's shirt there that's blue? Do you know that now they also sell shirts with NFT special edition? So that shirt that Jeff has could be an NFT. There'll be a chip on his shirt here. And that will be one of only 50. And you're going to print it like Kava, like Jeff. Our new brand, Kava brand.
Wow. Do you know, man, this changes the whole shopping experience of buying goods, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I heard on YouTube, it says someone bought it for $600. He said, hey, that's cheap. I'd be willing to own a limited edition jacket for $600 US. To me, that's cheap.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
It is only
fascinating.
Like 10 or 20 or 30. You know, I can buy the rest and that's okay. I buy mass market, right? But I'd like to own one of that, and I don't mind spending $600 for that.
Yeah. Fascinating stuff, mate. I need to get out of here because I've got a meeting due in about 3 minutes. But I always look forward to Tuesdays, and you haven't failed to, you know, give us another exciting chat, mate. So
we need to have a meeting, Ash, as well. Not about this, but about BC apparently.
BC, okay.
Yeah, I worked out what it was.
Okay.
Oh, you
British
did?
Columbia, not British Columbia, right? Sorry.
Not British Columbia. No. Not at all. All right. Thanks, Shukri. Much appreciated.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff.
I need to know when I've got to do this thing with Kasama. I've got to loan somebody something.
Loaning out, mate.
Right, Get out of here, Ash.
Wrap it up, and we'll be back again tomorrow. I don't know if you're leaving too, mate. Thanks, guys. As always,
another trade, but I'll deal with that. All good.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. See you soon. See you tomorrow.
See you, mate. Bye. Okay. US dollar, Canadian dollar. This was the third of my trades today, right? And we spoke about it earlier. And we missed the entry, but we may get another shot at this. I need to see the current bar here on the hourly chart be pretty much a double cross of the daily pivot. If it's not, I'll leave it alone. But I'd like to see it close here. If it closes down here in the next, 46 minutes, then I will place an order above it. I don't mean close down here, just anywhere in this vicinity, as long as it's higher than that high. So anywhere in here is good. I'd be placing an order long above it and stop loss below it. You might want to sneak your stop loss below there if it's close to there, but that's what I'll be doing on dollar CAD. Just a quick roundup of what we did trade. Those of you who weren't in earlier, we have an order short on Aussie dollar. That hasn't triggered, I don't think. No, nearly, but not quite. Aussie dollar short at 76.24 or 0.7624 with a stop loss at 0.7666 or 7,666 if you like. And TP1 is at 76, the figure down there. The other one was pound Kiwi. This is a scale in for those of you who are already in it. New trade if you wanted to go with it, but like I said before, this could well retrace further. In fact, substantially further down to around about here somewhere, I should imagine. And if that's the case, then I'll pick it up here. I hope we aren't taken into the trade prior to that, if it's going to do that, obviously. Our entry is at 96.56, so we're about 10 pips away from there at the moment. Why have we gone that way? That's interesting. $96.56. Oh, I'm not going to change it. That would be wrong. So 96.56 is the entry, and the stop loss is below the weekly pivot at 1.9656 and 1.9570 is the stop loss as I've got there. First take profit is at 1.9697. That is all, I think. The pound, we didn't take the breakout because it had already broken out. Nothing happening there. You wouldn't have got a first take profit on that yet had you taken it. Euro dollar, we're always looking for euro dollar again these days, but right now you'd have to think that euro dollar is in a bearish frame of mind. Now that's interesting. I can't put the dollar index up, but the dollar has broken out and looks very, very strong to me for a short period of time only, maybe. But you'd have to think that the 94 handle is upcoming. But this kind of stuff does interest me. And the reason it interests me is because we still are at a support level. We haven't closed below there yet on a substantial time frame. Have we closed below there on an hourly? Yes, we have. What that means is if we can come back into here and find a higher low, then I'd probably be interested in trading this long again. But it's a long way from there at the moment. Of course, you are at DS2. DS3 down here, so there may be a little bit of room. I'm not super keen, but I'll be looking at this. If I do get in front of the charts a little bit later, I'll be going away for a while now, but if I do get in front of the charts a little bit later and find that that's the problem I've got. I don't have a support trend line here to trade off. I'd have to probably look at the resistance area. So I'd need to get back up to here, break it and retest it, or give me something here, something like that maybe, an approach and a pullback. But the reward here isn't really, really cool unless you get in down here somewhere. So I won't go on with that. It's probably not worthy of note. That is, one thing I did want to point out is Euro CAD has now broken again through a support level. So now's the time to be thinking about a scale in here as well. That's now what are we? We're past 1-to-1 on this, I think. Where do we get in it? Here, we're at entry, aren't we? So we risked, I can't remember now. Was this candle? 400 and something. We're now well beyond that. We're about 600 pips up. I'd be more than willing to scale into this now. So we've taken one lot of profits. I can't remember if we take one or two. I think maybe only one lot of profit on this, but I'd be willing to risk some, most definitely, if we do get a break and pull back here and a retest, which is highly likely in my humble opinion. So we'll see how that pans out. But that really is it. I have been scanning the charts while Shukri and Ash have been having a little old chat. In the main, that candle there is the one that I'm interested in. So close below the daily pivot is what I want to see on this before I trade it long US dollar CAD. Right, guys, that is it for me as well. Hang on, Lewis. Taking a second look at pound Kiwi, I see a channel and price not fall back into the channel. Hang on a sec, I'll have a look at that also. Pound Kiwi. Okay, what time frame are you looking at, mate? Back into the channel, that create right shoulder and hence selling pressure, isn't it? Okay, so you're looking at maybe the daily. So you're looking at a head here, maybe a shoulder, maybe the 4-hour chart's a little easier to see it on. The channel. Yeah, I don't really see it, Lewis. Maybe there's one in here. It's a little bit iffy because it really hasn't formed for mine. But I'm thinking buying to here anyway, which is pretty much where our target is. As far as the other channel's concerned, you mean on the a big channel? Let me go and have a look at that. I can probably make an argument for up here. Okay, that makes sense. So I still see this as a bounce point to here, which is where we've got our get safe position, right? High on January 20, Feb 28, Jan 20. Jan 20, which is here. So you're going up this way. And Feb 18, which is where I was pretty much, maybe there somewhere. Yeah. I think I like mine better, to be honest, but I'm pretty much, so what you're saying is, let me come down here. Maybe that's what you're seeing. Feb 18. I don't see Feb 18. Channel high of January 20 and Feb 18. Feb 18 also the high. Okay, so there. That's the high. So you're seeing a false break. Okay, I see that. But I also see this as a retest area. So I'm happy to take that. And if this is a false break, then we are going where I see we're going. But I totally see where you're coming from now with that channel. It makes sense. Got it. Oh, are we late? Is Lenka due on? Angel, do I need to get out of here? I think I probably do. Guys, I think I'm going to be in trouble if I don't get out of here very, very quickly. So, Lewis, okay, I see where you're coming from. So, bounce off here, also a horizontal level. Get it? Selling pressure, yes. Is it enough to deter me from taking the position? No, because I still think that's potential for the first go. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm okay with that because we've if you, and I said it before, if you are in the trade, then you can afford to take this risk. that candle there is of concern. I agree with that as well. So, but I do see the retest area, and that should get me safe, and that's what I'm counting on. Right, I've got to get out of here, guys. Thank you very much all for your company once again. We look forward to it again tomorrow, and hopefully I'll get the Telegram channel up to date as well. Have a good one. We'll see you on Hump Day.